Quindexter here. Hang on one second. Quindexter here in my latest non-deleted creative testing world, and today is all going to be about tridents. Many tridents, trident killers more precisely, and I want to go through a few kind of basics, and then we'll get into some of the designs, the nuances, where you might want to use them, the speeds, and also hopefully remember how to build all of these ones, because trident killer designs have been going around in my noggin for some time, and my noggin's not that big. Let's talk about some of the very basic mechanics to begin with. All the trident killer designs that I've seen, let's talk about what's at the heart of it. A piston, or some pistons, absolutely observers, and then potentially some redstone, some signals, and delays to make sure that your tridents get pushed around by pistons in an orderly fashion. Here we have a piston and many observers. So observers around a trident killer can be placed in many configurations, and this just shows that, well, let's get all of them in picture, that all of those configurations will turn on these redstone lamps at the same time. But you don't want all of your pistons firing at the same time, and that's where the differences in a lot of the trident killers come into play. Here we have an observer looking at this piston when it fires, get a tick into this redstone lamp. Same from the side, from this side into a block, which pushes the signal across by 1. This one is observing, see his happy little face? Observing the piston pushing out. This one is observing the piston butting up against it. And this one is going through a redstone line into this redstone lamp. What you can see is they all fire simultaneously. So when we get into redstone designs, what we need to do is have a slight delay so that one piston fires, then the next one fires, then the next one fires, and the next one fires in order. And that's where the different designs come in. Again, different uses depending on which one you want to go for, and also speeds. Speeds are important. There are some very fast trident killer designs out there, but I play on realms. Some of you as well will probably play on realms. And note that if you play on a realm and you have a super fast trident killer, chances are it won't work, because either the pistons will be firing too quickly so the mobs won't fall down into where the trident is pushing around, which is not good, or alternatively, your trident killer will glitch out of sequence, which I will show you in a second. Kind of janky design, which I just threw together in a couple of minutes to also talk about the kind of the flow of redstone here. So here we have our first trident killer piston, which is powered by this lever, which will activate this observer, which will fire a redstone signal into this repeater, set on 1 tick delay, and that will power this piston, which will again fire this observer into this one, which is they're all set on exactly the same 1 tick delays around here. So when you fire the lever, what you get is a very orderly and actually quite slow but methodical trident killer. If you get the timings even slightly out, because let's say, oh, maybe we'll delay it further, we'll set this one to another tick, this one to another tick, this one to another tick, this one to another tick. When you're using observers, you get kind of a back push of redstone. So what happens now is chaos. You can see it's kind of firing backwards and forwards. Even though we've got repeaters like channeling the signal, it all goes a little bit crazy. This is not good for beasties being killed by tridents. So let's shut this thing up. Shut up. Let's get on to some of the like the very basic designs. So here is a 1x2 trident killer, and it does fit within the space that all the other ones kind of fit into, and this is my design, and you've got some exposed redstone, so it's not particularly precise. But again, 1 tick delay on this repeater, same on this side, and what you will see is that every time a piston fires, the observer will observe it, and then come round the signal, fire the next one, slight delay, fire the next one, and you end up with kind of a harmony between the two. And you could put your trident in there, and if you wanted to only drop in like a few mobs at a time, this would work, and this is super cheap. The reason why I've removed this block here is because if you want to pick up the trident, you can still move in here while it's working. You can pick up the trident and you can rethrow it. And that's a very important thing. All trident killers, if you're on a realm or if you're playing with friends, it's not just you who wants to use it, it's your buddies. So you want an ability for them to go in, pick up the trident, rethrow it, and then switch the trident killer back on again. Second one in the list, this is the kind of tried and tested Silent Whisperer design. He's been using this in his raid farms and various farms forever. I've got two of these. There's another one down there somewhere. This is the one where we have the droppers and observers on the bottom layer, and on the top layer we have the trident killer. It's quite slow. This one is actually working a lot faster than that one, or even the test one over there. On realms, this can be a little bit buggy if you're kind of flying in and flying out because of the speed that it goes round. But what you can see here is the tridents are all working clockwise. They'll be pushing that trident around, and I mean, you can add trapdoors how you like, but if you stand close this way, you're going to be picking up the trident, and then you've got the space to rethrow it, and hopefully no little nasties can get out here. The next one is one of the ones that I use quite a lot, and I kind of like this one. This is a single layer trident killer. It uses only 4 observers, 4 pistons, and 4 redstone torches, so it's actually pretty cheap. And it's not maybe as fast as this one, or as slow as the one over there, but on realms, this can work so long as you're not in a laggy area. If you're in a laggy area, this is probably a little bit too fast to use. And because you don't have any blocks in the corners, you can just pick up your trident and rethrow it from any of the corners around here. You wouldn't want to use this for things like Guardians, because they'll just glitch out. Certainly not Ravagers. They'll just come out of these corners and eat your face. Next up is slightly more expensive with observers. You have 2 observers for every 1 piston. And you can see here, this one is observing this piston firing, which fires this one, which activates this, and then all the way around. It's maybe a little bit slower than the one next to it. Because it's very low profile, it's nice. The problem is you can't break your corners, so you can't go in easily to pick up your tridents. So what I did, I just added onto here a little mechanism that I've used actually in the realm, which is, you know, locked. You can get your XP from this place, but double sticky pistons, you can retract, walk in, have a little disco time, get your trident, come out again, and then when you're finished. The next one is, again, it's a play on Silent Whisperer's design, but instead of having the droppers on the level below, we've got them on the one above. And depending on how this works for you, I actually prefer this a little bit, because it still means you can remove a block here, you can pick up your trident from this angle, you can rethrow it in, and this trapdoor here you can either shut or leave open. Baby zombies and other things can't come out and eat your face. And the speed wise, it's as quick as the other one. So no difference whether you have your droppers and your observers on the top layer or actually have them on the bottom layer. But as far as building it into something that's usable, it's more serviceable. Right, the next one, which is good for using Impaling 5 tridents, in case you do have massive amounts of drops and mobs coming in, which you might want to use, but also very useful if you actually have your AFK spot away from your trident killer, but you want not only the loot to go into maybe an auto sorting system or your XP to come and follow you, is actually having it all come out of your trident killer into a water stream and then go somewhere else. This is very similar to some of the other designs, apart from we're using repeaters. 2 ticks here, 2 ticks here, 1 tick on this one, or 0 ticks on this one, and that's again to finesse the timing when you don't have like a totally symmetrical build. You can see here we have a dropper with a lever on it. And it's not totally symmetrical, but it is following and it will work. And there's a stair in here, waterlogged stair, to make sure that the water comes down into here, and lots of ice to make sure stuff shoots out and will eventually find its way to a bubble vator or to you standing somewhere else. Here's my double trident killer, which is my design. And this is, I actually think, I haven't had the chance to build this anywhere yet, but if you had maybe a guardian farm, you'd need to reinforce this slightly, but you wanted, or you had two farms that were funneling items in separately, and you wanted two different trident killers because you had two different storage systems for whatever reason, you can use this one. You can still pick up the tridents just by standing here. Trapdoors will protect you from the meanies, and it's powered by one lever. Redstone signal coming out of this observer into a repeater, which again it's a little bit janky, but it does work, and it keeps them all following the right path. I've not built this one in realms yet, so I don't know whether it works or breaks on a realm, but in testing it's been fine. What you'll notice I have not done is talk about what happens underneath your trident killers, and that's because it's the same for every single trident killer as far as I'm concerned. If this is your kill chamber up here, your 4 blocks, and everyone has 4 blocks, you will have a hopper minecart which you'll place on a rail on top of a hopper. You can get rid of the rail. You can lock it in place with a block, and you'll have your hopper line coming out to wherever you are storing it in your world. A block is dropped here, 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 or here. It will get pushed around until it gets sucked up by this hopper minecart, and then it will end up in this hopper and will be sent out elsewhere. Happy days. And everything I have that I need, apart from building blocks of my choice and to get rid of any passive mobs, is in here. So 2 pistons, 2 observers, 2 redstone repeaters, 10 redstone dust, 1 lever, 1 trident. First up, let's place our pistons, and they will dance against each other in this direction. We will place an observer which will observe this piston firing and will send a redstone signal to make this one fire. Take our repeater, redstone dust, redstone dust, redstone dust, redstone dust. Now what we need to do is register when this one fires, we want to send a signal onwards. So we'll come out of here, we will place our repeater, redstone dust, and into this one. That's pretty much it done. We just need to change the timings. So add a tick to those repeaters. And we want to place that on a signal coming out here, like so. And you can see they are pushing, like one comes in, one comes out. Perfect timing. Now you can add your blocks up, and you can have your mobs drop into this area and they should get killed. If you wanted to pick up your trident, like on this one, you can break 2 corner blocks and you can come in here and you've got your trident back. Next one, slightly more complicated one, a little bit higher. Let's build our blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. When you're doing this in survival, you will always start with your storage system and then build on top of it. Don't ever watch Silent's videos where he does his trident killers and then go, oh, now just float down underneath and build your storage system, because in survival that means like scaffolding up to your eyeballs. You don't want to be doing that. And take what I need from this one, which is 4 droppers, 4 observers, 4 pistons, 2 oak trapdoors, 1 lever, 1 trident. Right, so on this level you can place droppers in each of the 4 corners. It doesn't matter which orientation they are. anywhere you want. That's all fine. And then you want to place your observers facing away from your droppers. So here, shift click. Nope. Like so. So you can see the arrows. Place those into a solid block. You end up with this pattern. And then you want to place your pistons towards the pointy end of your observer. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Looking good. Then you can place some solid blocks in each of the corners. Like so. Don't forget your lever. Place it on the level with the observers. And there you go. Super fast trident killer. As we have on this one, you want to be able to get in there, so placed a couple of glass blocks. You can do those there. You can remove that block. It will still work. You still want to be able to get into, pick up your trident, like so, and then like so. So you'll be able to pick up your trident here, no baddies will be able to get you, and if I throw in my trident, turn on the farm, and I've picked up my trident again. Trident killer number 3, my personal favourite. Let's just turn that off. Let's get our equipment, which is 4 pistons, 4 observers, 1 lever, 4 redstone torches, and a trident. Again, all trident killers start in the same way. And it doesn't matter whether you start on either of these blocks, just so long as you leave a gap, place your piston, leave a gap, place your piston, leave a gap, place your piston. It's the foundation for every trident killer. Now what you want to do is you want to place a redstone torch on the side where there is a 2-block gap for each of your pistons. So here, there's a 2-block gap here, here, and here. And you want to send a signal away from that redstone torch into your piston. So here you have the smiley face, or not so smiley. And then here, here, and here. That's pretty much it done. Place your lever on your piston. Give it 1 push and then another one. And your trident killer is done, realm. The next one is the double observer one. I'll turn this one off. Again, let's place our blocks at the base. Sorry. Let's get our gear out of the chest. So we're 8 observers, 4 pistons, 1 lever, a couple of sticky pistons and a trident. And we shall place our pistons again, 2 blocks, 2 blocks, 2 blocks. Place one here, place one here, place one here, place one here, place one there, place one there. Yeah, that should be right. Piston fires, this one fires, this one picks it up, plugs in all the way around. Perfect. And this is a really, it's slightly more expensive with observers, but I find on Realms that this is kind of the perfect timing. The problem is, it's not an easy way into this beastie, which is why you can do things like this. Probably built that in the wrong place, didn't I? Yeah. I get confused because this is a mirror image. So with one sticky piston here and one on top of it, like so, and we can place glass there. We can place a lever here with redstone line. What you can end up now is actually a safe way of getting in to pick up your pistons. So if we were going to put glass all the way around here, when you turn off your trident killer and you want to pick up your trident, you can flick this lever, opens your door, you can come in here, pick up your trident and escape, close your door, turn it back on again. Love this design. In fact, I love all the trident killers. Sad, right? This one is the upside down version of the one I've built over there. So let's see if I can do that one from memory. And pick up the needed resources here, which is 4 droppers, 4 observers, 4 pistons, trapdoor, a lever, and a trident. This one starts in the same way as most trident killers do, which is setting your pistons out, whichever direction you want. Then put solid blocks around each of your pistons. Place your 4 droppers in each of the corners. It really doesn't matter which orientation they are. And then you want to have your observers facing into your pistons and away from your droppers. Like so. That will power this block. Like each one of these will power the block above the piston and will activate the piston, which is why you want your observers bottoms facing into the block which is above your piston. Put some solid blocks in. Find the best spot for your lever. I never remember. Maybe this one? Absolutely not. That sounded pretty good. Let's flick it again. This design, I know Silent uses this a lot in his builds. My problem is this will get out of sync very quickly on a realm unless you are sitting right next to the server. What I've done over here is allow you to pick up the trident, so you can break the block here. In fact, you don't even need to do anything more than this. I'll show you. You can place a trident in here. That's clanking away. And you pick up your trident again. So you can do it. The problem here is, how do I re-throw it in? So this is where you would break this block. Place your trapdoor, give you the ability to throw it back in again. Happy days. This design is for using Impaling 5. It's pretty quick. It's based around repeaters, which I find are always a little bit of an issue on realms for trident killers. Not as robust as some of the earlier ones. Like so. Resources from over here. 4 pistons, 4 observers, 3 redstone repeaters, some droppers, lever, packed ice, water, smooth, stairs of whatever choice you want, and tridents. We'll place our pistons in this orientation just for the hell of it. I have no idea whether that's the right one. This is where we're going to have our water stream coming out, and we will replace these 4 blocks with packed ice. You can use blue ice. Don't use ice just in case it's going to melt. And coming out in this direction is going to be a water stream. Break that. like so. A staircase in the corner away from where our water stream is coming out, so we know the water will flow in this direction. So that will be here, and then we'll block off each of the corners, like so. It will carry everything down in this direction. And you can see the water streams making everything come down here. Now we need to activate it. So we have, this is slightly different. We've got one dropper, which will place, well, let's mirror what we've done over here. So that one is up here with the lever. And then we've got repeaters in the other corners. So we need an observer facing, always the pointy end facing into the trident, the piston, sorry. We have a block here. We're going to put our repeater there. We have our observer facing into the trident. Sorry, not the trident, into the piston, like so. Put a block, put a block. And now we want our repeaters coming in this direction, set to one more tick, and no ticks, or just the standard ticks. Missing a block, and missing an observer. That should work. Works like a charm. Next up is this meanie, and actually it's exactly the same as this one over here. Right, this design here, so I'm not going to rebuild it. I mean, I can rebuild it. Well, let's see how quickly I can do that. Okay. There we have our two trident killers. We're going to come out here. We would place it into here, but we'll come out from that one. This one will observe that one. That will be observed. That will be observed. That will be observed, etc. Out of this one, into a repeater, and then into, well, both of these pistons, but this won't matter because this will already be firing. Solid block here, and we place our lever on this piston. Happy days! If we were going to actually be dropping mobs down into here, we would be funneling them down from on high. To protect ourselves, place some trapdoors. We can go and pick up our tridents whenever we like. We're just walking up to each of these trapdoors. Double trident killer. Success. I've built a lot of these in a very short space of time. I'm sure with video editing it will seem even shorter. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you can use some of these in your own designs. As I said, if you're playing on Realms, pick some of the slower ones. Don't pick the super fast ones. Pick the one that's right for you. Quindextra out.